Had a swim in the air glitch in A Hero's Tale. I didn't even know A Hero's Tale had swim in air. Too stupid to figure out how to get couldn't figure out how to get dark gems, but I knew how to break the game. That is quintessential Spyro experience. Even good Spyro games are like, I don't know how to, you know, get everything, but what I do know is how to clip through the floor to get to Crush's dungeon early. So this is fine. I think it's because I knew how to do the swim in airs for other Spyro games. Okay, yeah. I jank it up some of the geometry in the water. I think I like love and respect these games too much to break them too hard. Also, I'd like some validation. How do we feel about Super Flame Spyro, glowing pink? How do we feel about it? Took a really long time. Fell the level. Yeah. Exactly. I think glowing pink Spyro might be the GOAT. I absolutely adore glowing, and even like in like CTR when they give him like the ice skin and stuff. I love all the different Spyro skins. But yeah, I think I think I love these games too much to break them indefinitely like that. It's like, I could skip some stuff, but I want to do it. Do they give Spyro a different color for the supercharge power-ups in 2? Like in oh, what's the Satyr level? So now I'm like, I want to play this shit, but as a kid I was bad at games. Yeah, I definitely remember, I would do, as a kid, I would do the really Fracture Hills, thank you. I don't know why that was escaping me. All I could hear was the music, the bagpipe music. And my brain was just stalling on that. But yeah, in Fracture Hills, there's the supercharge power-ups you can get around the level. Do they give Spyro a different color? The wonderful Doot Doot MIDI pipes. Exactly. Is he like orange? I want to say he was like orange or red.
Hey, Spyro. All dragons know there's magic in a fairy's kiss. See what it can do to your power of flame.
Too little, too late, Kosuko. I've already figured out. Yeah, candle horns! There is... I'm pretty confident in saying I don't think there's any bad designs in this game. I think all of them are clever in some way. Like all the peacekeepers having like different weapons and different... What do you mean, well? Wait till Spyro 3. Okay, no, I meant in Spyro 1 when I say this game. We're not talking about the baby dragons. The baby dragons are rough. When I say good dragon designs in this game, I'm not talking about the Reignited trilogy as a whole. I would never... Because, like, they took the time, which I think is really interesting, because, fun fact, Spyro 3 was passed on to a different company to work on, not Toys for Bob. I don't remember who made it, but it wasn't Toy for Bob. I wasn't even talking about the baby dragon. Really? In Spyro 3, other dragon designs. Other dragon design. The NPCs and... Oh. Well, you know, I think something can be said for... Not all of them are bad, but, like, the human... Yeah, I don't like what they did to not Handle and Greta. I don't like what they did to Handle and Greta. They look a little funky. Like, it's like you jacket is blank so his eyes. 100% agreed. His beady little eyes.
Hold your horns. Here comes Spyro.
Patience, little one. You'll soon have the opportunity to battle the one who matters most. Gnasty Gnorc.
God, I love the colors on that dragon. I feel like they give him, like, they're trying to give him, like, these chibi dimensions, you know, with, like, the larger eyes, not so much love in this first game, though. What I think is interesting is that they put so much time into, like, all of the individual dragon designs in, like, this first game, and they give the second game, or they give the third game with the baby dragons, the same treatment. Oh, right, I was, nice getting that long, I was spacing out, thinking about the baby dragons in the third game and how they're basically treated the same. Because, like, in the first game, there's, like, 5 or 6 different dragon models, and then they just changed the colors. But then, in the third game, they give them that same treatment again. Despite the fact that in the first game, all the dragons are given their own, like, they could have at least given the dragons in Spyro 3, the baby dragons, individual animations. Not just, come on. No. Damn it. Okay. I'll come back. Oh, that looks like, are those dropped frames in the stream? Those look like dropped frames. There we go. Yeah, I get it from a design perspective and, like, a time crunch. Like I said, they outsourced Spyro 3 to another company for a lot of, like, later development, just because, unfortunately, Toys for Bob is not free from crunch. And yeah, I agree that, like, all the dragons have, like, their cool designs because of their profession, their occupation, and obviously babies don't have that yet. They could have at least, like, given them different color palettes. You know, I noticed a lot of, like, green, blue, and purple repeated ad nauseum. Oh yeah, why am I going for a fairy's kiss? I have the infinite one. Okay. Yeah, feathers on the wings, because we see that adult dragons here can have, you know, feathered wings or designs, gradients, patterns, but it's like the same 4 colors and the same 3 body types and the same 8 animations. I think you should design some of the dragons. That sounds like a great exercise of, like, taking the just the world that Spyro sets up, because it's a very fleshed out, like, lore wise. There's so much to do, so much to work with. You know, designing artisans. You know, what are some other artisans that they didn't incorporate? I was complaining earlier in the stream about Gavin if you remember Gavin's design. I feel like there's definitely some better artisans to work with than than Gavin. And is that it? No. Oh no, I'm still missing a lot. Okay. Oh, duh. Can I get back? Please tell me I can get back. Is there a whirlwind or... Okay. Yeah, so Gavin's redesign. First of all, I think it's funny that like they gave all the dragons these like very mystical names. Even like other artisans are named like Alvor and Thor, and then just Gavin. There's just a dude called Gavin, and they gave him this like artisanal like coffee maker design. He has like gauges in his horns. He's covered in tattoos. He's got the handlebar mustache. I just felt like it was too contemporary for Spyro, because it's like a lot of out of time designs of like, oh, mystical fantasy or distant future with its technology, and then you just have a dude that makes coffee named Gavin. It's really funny, but I also am not 100% sure if it fits. Very daddy. Yeah, big himbo vibes. Like, in a vacuum, I think Gavin is very funny and a very good design. I just think in the grand scheme of Spyro, I think he's a little against type. Which I'm ready for people to fight me for. I'm ready for people to absolutely defend Gavin. What am I missing? Am I stupid? What am I missing? Is it really time to backtrack to the beginning of the level? Okay. He certainly has a lot of fan art. I'll take your word for it. I do not know of the numbers and letters website that would house so many pictures of Gavin. The letter and numbers website is far beyond my realm of knowledge that would house the Gavin fan art. This is okay. It's not getting me banned on Twitch fan art. It's is it steamy without being saucy? You shall not speak the forgotten numbers. Oh, you're saying it's okay, we don't have to talk about it. Okay. Perfectly fine. When I was 15 or 16, I don't think you can find this video anymore, but I did, this was before the release of the Reignited trilogy. Can be swept under the coffee-stained rug. Yes, it can. When I was in high school, I did a video about how Spyro 4... At least you better hope it's coffee. Those are okay. Whatever else could be that color, I'm not gonna worry about it. The stains can be left alone. We're gonna call it coffee and move on. When I was in high school, I did a yeah, I got everything. I did a video about how Spyro 4,
Hope you know what lies in store
like,
for
on a
you.
base level, from a design standpoint, is the
Gnasty's
natural
world is
evolution of
not
Spyro.
the friendliest place
And,
to live. Are
like,
you ready to go?
it's just, you know, from a design standpoint, everything in the execution is what was, like, flawed, but from a design standpoint, it was solid. It had some, you know, it had some merit to it. And I opened that video with some fan art of Ember, and I remember a lot of people being like, a lot of people were like, that's a good joke, that's a good way to open it, but also immediate, like, red flags from YouTube being like, what are you doing here, buddy? And that was always really funny to me. I should try finding that video. Yeah. It wasn't even like, you know, tasteless, you know. It wasn't just, you know, nudity for the sake of, like, nudity in the thumbnail. No, it was just like, it was her from, like, the shoulders up, but you could tell it was a saucy picture. And I was just like, yeah, you know, it's these kinds of people who are... No, I'm okay. It was like, oh, it's the, you know, I'm as excited for the Reignited trilogy as everybody else, and I don't even remember what the joke was. So many big YouTubers get away with that. Yeah. It wasn't even in the thumbnail. Like, the thumbnail was a close-up of Alora with, like, it was Alora looking straight at the camera, but it was, like, really red and crunchy. It was really bit crushed. You were in high school in the... No, I was not in high school, but it was announced. I think Reignited came out, like, my first year out of high school. Sorry if that ages you. I graduated high school in 2017, and Reignited, I'm pretty sure, came out in 2018. So, like, we were ready for it. It was coming. I don't know if it ages me. Okay, not that bad. Yeah, see, it's fine. Graduated in 2016? No, it's fine. I will say, however, my first job outside of high school was absolutely the best and worst it could have been for me. I ended up working at a GameStop out of high school. So 2018, I was, oh boy, I'm excited for all the... Because 2018 was a great year for games. However, oh no, this would have been... I started working there the winter of 2017 out of high school. So that was the year the Switch dropped. My first day of work at a GameStop was Black Friday 2017. Oh yeah, no, it was great. And the manager that hired me wasn't even the one that worked there anymore. Between me getting hired and my first day at work, they swapped managers for 2 different GameStops, just to be like, okay, this one manager from a small town is doing really well, we'll move her to the mall. And then the one from the mall can come back to the small town store she was working at. Baptism by fire. Exactly. Every job I've ever had, right as I'm about to leave, they're like, or we can make you, like, assistant manager or manager of another location. Not for me. I do grunt work. But yeah, so the year the Switch dropped, pretty sure it was 2017, I got hit with the Black Friday mess. But it was fine, because 2018 was a great year for games. We got, like, God of War, Spider-Man, this. I'm fine. Oh yeah, it's... I have been, I'm currently, going to school as well. I'm on the last year of my bachelor's. And I am currently unemployed, living off of savings. As soon as I re-enter the workforce, that's gonna look great. I hope you have, like, scholarships or something that you can, that are helping support you while you're unemployed. I hope everything is okay for you financially, because that seems to be the most important thing in our society. If you're not doing well financially, sucks to be you.
Keep up the good work, Spyro. I expect
Live in
Gnasty's
Scotland.
really starting to worry about you.
I'd be shaking in my Gnorc boots if I were him.
Lucky, lucky. Okay. Yeah, Latif. Latif is such a great dragon design. I also love how all of the dragons in the Gnorc world are dragons you've already saved. They're just, it's like the best of the best coming back. Like the first dragon you free here in the Gnorc Nexus, I'm pretty sure is like the first dragon you free at the beginning of the game. It's a good time. But yeah, I wish I got free university. That sounds great. Yeah, they were like, Spyro's busy saving everybody else. We got this. And then Spyro has to come and save their asses again. I had that coming. I don't know where, but somewhere along the way, cosmically, I deserve that. Yeah, I think, especially in an environment where better paying jobs equal, like, oh, you need to have a high education, it is specifically designed to fuck over poor people. Like, the hierarchy of needs is not being met in a society that puts a price tag on living, you know? Getting a house, buying food, living paycheck to paycheck just for groceries. Like, it is specifically designed to benefit the wealthy while hurting the disenfranchised. Minimum wage jobs person. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Minimum wage is not the same as livable wage, because it's like, I live in a part of the United States where a study was done recently, and it basically said to survive on your own in the largest city in the state, you need to be working 2 jobs, and even then you get like an apartment that is a single room. You get a one of those studio apartments. It's like you could get a studio apartment, which is just a big ass room, if you work 2 jobs and never sleep.
Rescued, especially by such a little dragon. What I mean is, I always believed in you, Spyro.
You gotta believe.
Yeah, it's terrible, and I'm lucky enough. I live about a 1 hour-ish journey from that city. Like, I live basically just outside of like that big city, and I'm very fortunate in that the place where I'm living is rent controlled to some extent. Like, I personally know the people who own the property I'm renting, so like, they're not going to raise my rent unless it's like for very specific reasons of like property taxes going up, which is also insane to me, because you can own the house that you live in but not the land that it's on, or something like that. Like, I don't know enough about property taxes to speak on this, but the fact that you can like pay everything off, but then every year you still have to pay the government a certain amount of money just to have the thing you already paid for, the place you already paid for, it's great. Yeah, exactly. Like, you need with how they expect us to survive the same way that they've been surviving. A lot of privilege. Yeah, it's tough because every day it feels like every day the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and there's not enough infrastructure in place really anywhere to accommodate people who need it. Like, you're speaking to physical and mental illness. I recently went through some like I had a last July was really rough for my mental health, and I couldn't afford therapy. Like, I couldn't afford to like talk to a professional. I have like a personal infrastructure of friends who helped me, and a friend and I went out into the woods. Like, we bought a bunch of like cheap glass from like a dollar store. Bought a bunch of cheap like glass and like ceramics, and we just went out in the woods and broke stuff. That was cathartic. That felt very nice, but that's not like a solution. That is enough to like get me through another year, I would say. There's not enough infrastructure in place to help people. A lot of my US friends. Yeah, and even it's a system that fails even those that are like it's flawed by design. America as a whole is flawed by design. You know, I don't want to get for the sake of the VOD and people who will be, you know, watching this in time, I don't want to get too political, but people are trying to scare up a boogeyman. You know, they're trying to say like there's like all of these secret agendas that are specifically against everything that they're for, because that's easier. No, it's totally fine. People scare up this like imaginary force that is working against them because that's easier for them to understand than the fact that America is flawed by design and it's a broken system that is working exactly as it's designed to work. Like, America was designed to help those in the top. Like, infrastructure was put in place to protect them, but the common people were not considered. Like, all of our important doctrine was not consulted upon by the masses. It was written by 20 rich white people who 20 rich white straight men, I should say. And that is exactly who the infrastructure is favoring. And so, people are saying, it's, this, that, or the other thing that are the system is failing us because of X, Y, and Z. These are new things coming into place that are failing us. No, it's always been designed that way. It's always been designed to fail you. It's just that the more freedoms that we are quote unquote given, we realized how much can be taken away. With like the Roe v. Wade thing getting overturned. And the problem is, and George Carlin, a very poignant comedian, once said, if they can be taken away from you, they're not rights. You have the right to breathe oxygen, but even that can be taken away from you. So, like, rights are this imaginary concept given to masses to keep them quiet. It's like, oh, you have the right to all of these things. So that gives you this imaginary sense of, like, freedom within your own living. To say, like, oh, I can do all these things. Well, you can do all these things within reason. You can do all these things because people above you said you could. So that's not really freedom. It's... Is this anything? Am I going too far? I'm just trying to play the funny dragon game, the funny purple dragon game. Thank you. I like to think I make sense too. It's always hard, you know, tiptoeing around these topics because there's always, you know, contrarians. Got some friends involved in union work. Yeah, I have a friend right now. She works for a major corporation that is against unions, and they are currently trying to unionize. So I'm trying to get involved, but it's hard when you're unemployed. You know, I don't have a union to fight for, but you know, I'm trying to stay well informed about, you know, the plight of the people, as it were. Up I go. Can I save this? Can I? Let's go! Right into the water again. Okay. Yeah, and that's exactly what they want, is for you to feel small. You know, the more the world connects because of like this digital age that we live in, yeah, the more this world connects, the more we realize how small and insignificant we are. You know, it's like, you know, in the worldview that people had in like the 40s, it was like, I live in a town of so many people. Even like a large city, it's like there are, you know, 30,000 to 50,000 people in my world, you know, around this city that I live in. And every now and then I venture out of my bubble. But now it's like, oh, you know, billions of us are connected. Not everybody's connected in the world yet. You know, we still have a lot of isolated parts of the world that are not... Oh, there's a health there. Okay. But, this comes with, like, the existential dread of just, like, the universe as a whole. And it's, the uncaring nature of the universe. It feels like even the world itself doesn't care at a certain point, which is rough, because, you know, the world is where I live. I'd like to think the world cares about me, but there are people, and there's always going to be people who are above you in some way, and I think there's a lot to be said for coming to terms with the fact that there are some people who will always be born with, you know, the silver spoon in their mouth, born with so much more privilege than everybody else.
They better be on the lookout for
And
me.
just not worrying about them. Despite how much privilege and power they have, they don't worry about you. I think there's something to be said about not worrying about them. You know, I think some peace of mind can come from saying, we're all in this together, and I can only do the best that I can with the hand I've been dealt. And that's not to say to just deal, you know, be content with your lot in life. I think people should always strive for their dreams, you know, strive for more out of life. How do you feel about the Splatoon level? I hate it. I hate how they absolutely declawed this level with I want to thank you for pulling me out of that hole. I was just gonna keep going until somebody stopped me. Yeah, like in the original game, they had like miniguns and real grenades, and oh, there I go. Okay. Yeah, they absolutely, like, they took out the fangs, they declawed it. And now it's I don't want to say it's like too kid-friendly, because it's Spyro. Of course it's going to be kid-friendly. But let's go back for some health. Haha, nice. My health total. Haha, nice. Yeah, they had straight up like miniguns and the usual like Call of Duty like gunfire sound effects. I was like, as an adult from a game design perspective, I'm okay with that because this is the end game. It's supposed to feel more serious. And I mean, there's still Gnorcs, there's still big goofy green frog dudes. So it's like, it's fine, it's whatever. You know, the commandos are still, I feel, goofy enough to justify, like, the serious guns. There's still guys in Spyro 3 with real guns. I'm trying to think of where the guns are in Spyro 3. Oh, yeah. Country bumpkins but dinosaurs, that's right. Dino Mimes. Yeah, like, it's cartoonish, like, because they have, like, TNT and stuff, too. But you're right, they have, like, the Triceratops on the turrets, and the T-Rexes with, like, revolvers. Interesting that they kept that. I'm gonna need more help than that. I love hearing big, ominous sounds outside of my house. What's going on out there? The guns weren't fitting aesthetically. A bet. Absolute bet. We'll see about that. I think they're fine. Like, I get, because, like, there's, like, what I don't get from just a narrative perspective is, like, because they're making it seem like this is, like, one of the Gnorc headquarters. If there was more goo throughout the game, like, if there was more of a poisonous acid goo aesthetic throughout the game, like the Gnorcs were, like, if this had been more of, like, a Tesla coil themed level, you know, with okay, but, like, you see the big pumps full of, like, the green goo and the pink goo. If that had been more present, I get it. Like, this. Like, if this goo had been seen more throughout the game, I get it. But it wasn't. Yeah, which I like the industrial aesthetic. I think it definitely adds, like, a heavier tone to what's happening. You know, it definitely feels like Spyro is someplace he shouldn't be. Yeah, I think it definitely fit. I think it definitely fit better in, like, the original game. They just, like I said, they declawed it. It had like a sense of danger to it, you know, like, even as a kid. Yeah, bad guys in a very Captain Planet way. Yeah, because, like, it isn't like Agent 9 who uses, like, a laser gun. Like, if they had given Agent 9, if they had strapped Agent 9 with, like, with a 9mm, that would have been a problem. But they're bad guys. They have the bad guy weapons. You know, gun violence is not good. Stop the guys causing gun violence. And we're there. This is it. And then there's just the victory lap. Right on. Gnasty Gnorc time, baby! Yeah, it's definitely not, like, a fight. Because, like, none of the boss fights in this game had, like, health bars. You know, it was just, you hit them 3 times and they're dead. And all of the Gnasty Gnorc fight is him running away. Come on. Man. There we go. Beat Spyro 2 as a teenager, never bothered with Reignited. Yeah, like I said, growing up I had like at least one copy of like each of them, and the thing is, as a kid, I had no idea what's wrong with me. I did not understand, even up until I was like 7 or 8, I did not understand the concept of load game versus new game. So I restarted the Spyro games a lot, and I also did not know the difference between the Spyro games when I was a wee little child. Yeah, so like, I didn't understand the difference between the 3 Spyro games. I would just be like, I like Spyro. I'm gonna put in the disc labeled Spyro. And, I would just click on the first option. It would say, you know, load game, new game, whatever it was. And I got very well acquainted with Sunny Villa in Spyro 3. So in openings feels, yeah, there's something about the opening to Spyro 3, just like the opening homeworld with the music. The music for Spyro 3 I think is like some of the best. Like it I think the homeworld, I love that game, but it really trails off at the end. That's how rushed it was. Yeah, I've never been a fan of the bonus round. You know, instead of like challenging, really, I wasn't a fan of the super bonus round, because it felt like instead of offering like a decent challenge in terms of like what the player, oh come on, I hit him. Instead of offering a decent challenge, and I'm talking specifically about the skateboarding race, instead of offering like a decent challenge for like what the player's capable of doing, they just ramped up the difficulty of the NPCs to a ludicrous amount, which, you know, that's difficulty in its own right, but it never felt like I was the one being challenged, because the course itself is very simple, if that makes sense. I like the skateboarding minigame as well. That's very, you know, 2,000 of it. Okay. Yeah, permanently killed him for the race. Okay. That hurts. Oh, I missed a gem anyway. Okay. Okay. Well, good thing I died, because I missed some stuff anyway. I'm gonna eat my controller, man. Imagine. Yeah, right? I think at that point, I'd probably, like, not end the stream. I'd just get up and leave my house and never be seen again. Missed 2 gems and Gnasty Gnorc. I would just get up. I wouldn't pause the game. I would just sit there and let Gnasty Gnorc hit me until I ran out of lives. And, yeah, I'd just leave. Bartok the Magnificent. That sounds familiar. I haven't seen it, but that does sound familiar. Is it good? You already sold me. You said it's a Don Bluth movie. Don Bluth is, I feel, growing to become a severely forgotten animator. That's who looks and sounds a lot like a character. Well, one can hope it was at least better than Titan AE. Yeah, when I was a kid, there was like 3 movies I would watch, and one of them was, oh come on. Yeah, when I was a kid, there's only like 3 movies that I really wanted to watch. I would just watch the same 3 VHSs, and one of them was Rockadoodle by Don Bluth, which I think is like a middling Don Bluth movie. Like, I don't know if people favor that one as much. But Rockadoodle was absolutely my jam as a kid. People hate Rockadoodle. I believe that. I believe people are entitled to their opinion, but objectively, Rockadoodle's a bop. It's based on like a 1920s or 1930s children's book called Chanticleer the Rooster. I did it! I did it.
You're toast, Gnorc.
But the head owl was played by You're toast, Gnorc. The head owl was played by Vincent Price.
Almost forgot about
The
you.
legend.
What about Gnasty Gnorc?
Nasty Gnorc.
What do you mean the owls are lame?
Toast.
So now there's order again in the Dragon Kingdom?
Well, mostly. I've still got some treasure to find.
What will you do next?
I'd say the sky's the limit.
Okay, that's... Agreed. Tweedledee is not a threatening lyric. Oh, I love the art in these credits with Spyro helping out the other artisans. Spyro's just helping. He's just a little dude. He just wants to help. Oh, man. That was fun. And now we get to do the victory lap. I always like the bonus levels in Spyro games. Even though I just said I wasn't a fan of Super Bonus Round, I feel like it's a very nice looking level. You know, the pinks and greens up in that mountain. It's a very nice looking level, and I like the concept of collecting as much treasure as possible to unlock the next part. I just feel like the mini games themselves were kind of lackluster for a Super Bonus Round. Beanox. I think Beanox is the team. Yeah. Wait, here we go. Sanzar. I'm sorry. Sanzaru Games were the ones that designed Spyro 3? Interesting. I like Sanzaru Games, despite the fact that they are now owned by Facebook. Yeah, the final boss fight in Spyro 3 was not as good as the first final boss fight in Spyro 3. Like the first fight against the sorceress I felt was harder, like more of a challenge than the second one. Even the first final boss fight was lame. I really hate using the tank. Yeah, the Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer was taken off of doing Call of Duty for a second so that they could make Spyro. Yeah, I never liked the tank in Spyro 3. Like, either version, because there was like the tank on wheels, which controlled really poorly, and then there was the hover tank, which also controlled very, very poorly. The UFO was fun to use, though. The flying saucer. The hover tank was so... Nemesis. Yeah, the hover tank minigame is what I was talking about in Haunted Tomb. Like, as a kid, I could beat the sorceress, but for 100%ing the game, literally the only thing I could not do was the hover tank minigame in Haunted Tomb until I was, like I said, 15, 16. It controlled so poorly. Not to mention the, I think I ever got that far in Spyro 3 as a kid. Yeah, it, I think Evening Lake, like when I was little, I feel like Evening Lake was probably about as far as I made it as well. I just remember like watching my dad play it, because my dad is also big into games, like seeing Agent 9 or like the Agent 9 level in Evening Lake, because they always were like, oh, go to the next hub world and then backtrack to this previous hub world once you have the new playable character. So I was like, yo, there's a space monkey somewhere in this game? I gotta get to the space monkey. And then I never did. Used to watch all these. It was a weird Wii community. Yeah, I love Spyro so much, and I recently have been getting into watching speedrunners. I love speedrunners like Zem, who does Ratchet and Clank, and Outrageous Josh, who does Jak and Daxter. The problem is the guy who the #1 Spyro speedrunner, like OG PS1 Spyro speedrunner. I don't remember his handle, unfortunately, but he looks like one of my college professors, but he's always shirtless in his streams. So it's like a very specific level of uncomfortable. No, like, he's great at the game, no shade on the guy on his own. It's just that combination of he looks like a guy I know, and he's always shirtless. So it's very unfortunate that, like... Oh, there's Gavin. Hi, Gavin. But yeah, I love, like, a lot of the communities seem very, very cool. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the Jak and Daxter games. I just played through Jack won like 100% a couple days ago on stream. Spyro's fucking iPhone. Yeah. Fucking Zoomer. Fucking... And his pink unicorn drink. Yeah, I just played through Jak and Daxter on stream a couple days ago, and like I brought it up to Outrageous Josh on Twitter, and yeah, everybody in that community seems so cool. The problem is, I just love games too much to get tied down to a single like community. Insomniac Games, thank you so much for just making this the original. Mark Cerny, who's now in charge of a lot of Sony stuff. What was I talking about? My parents recently got a kitten, and that little fucker likes to claw at everything. His bites aren't that bad. He likes to gnaw and stuff, but fresh cat claws suck. Well, the beautiful art is done. Can I? Oh, yeah. Oh, I can just skip it. Cool. Yeah, it's not so much it's not so much biting us. He does like to nibble on us, but it's power cables he likes to nibble on. So they have him in an enclosure currently with everything he'll need. Food, water, a cat tree, litter box. He has everything he needs. He's not in there all day. They take him out every now and then, you know, play around with the cat, take him outside. Wow. Well, good thing we're almost done here. Yeah, they've been using bitter apple, and once he's old enough to understand that the squirt bottle is negative reinforcement, we're hoping to like train that out of him. Unfortunately, it seems like cats take more to negative reinforcement than positive reinforcement, like dogs. You know, it's hard to get a cat with positive reinforcement. All right, on to the victory lap. Let's go. Yeah, and that's always the risk you run with and I hate using negative reinforcement. You know, I don't abide towards like anything that could harm an animal in any way, shape, or form, but like even a squirt bottle. Okay. I might suggest that they try that then. With the cables. You know, just redirect them towards something similar that is okay to chew on. Yeah, get him, and that's also like what catnip is good for. You know, whatever you want him to go after. Just put a little catnip on there. It's fine. All right. Oh, fair. I don't. This is still a kitten we're talking about. I don't know if conceptually this cat understands doing things for attention yet. I don't know if he understands the A to B of doing things for attention, because he's given so much attention. You know, he's the kitten. Everybody wants to play with the kitten, so. What? Did he just... Okay. Yeah, he's learning. Unfortunately, he's learning. This is also the first time that my parents have really had, like, a kitten. Like, all the cats that we got growing up were already, like, a couple years old, and it was like, oh, we can't take care of them anymore, and so we need to get rid of them. This is like, this kitten is barely off of nursing from its mother. Come on. There we go. Yeah, we're thinking that our kitten might have been taken away from its mother a little too early as well. We're thinking. Ah. No, man. Yeah, this kitten. We're thinking he may have been born like early July. So that's, you know, he's barely 2 months old now, and my parents got him a couple weeks ago. So yeah, probably also around 6 or 7 weeks. He seems to have, at least what we're picking up on, is he might have some minor motor function problems. Watch out for suckling on clothes and stuff. Yeah, he doesn't really do that. Like I said, it's a lot of gnawing, lots of seems to have like dependency issues with like being left alone. Luckily, we have my parents have a dog that mostly grew up around like cats and stuff, so she's very good around animals, and she has taken to this cat like crazy. So there's still like a kind of quote unquote mother figure for the cat, but he seems to have trouble like walking around on his own. He trips a lot. We're hoping this, as he grows older, he'll develop more interesting. Almost so. That is a young baby thing? Okay. Like I said, never really had a kitten. It's always been adult cats, to an extent. Automod held a message for... What? That's what you get for swearing in my chat, I guess. Now, am I mistaken? Or did they edit this? Because I seem to remember behind this wall there was a room full of treasure with a dragon in it, like a crystal dragon. Like this, there should be an opening right here. You remember that? I don't know why, but I seem to remember that, like, hidden in like hidden behind the wall in Gnasty Gnorc's house, there's like the one last dragon that you can't get. But I'll take the L on that. I must have been mistaken. Knowledge. Patience is for dragon. Knowledge is the power to turn dragons to crystal. You and your goal. Little tiny purple dragon. Imagination rhymes with devastation. Good bits, good jokes. Well, that's it. It's over. It's done. I'm sitting at 120%.
Spyro the dragon, you defeated Gnasty Gnorc, collected the dragon eggs, saved all the dragons, and recovered every bit of treasure in the Dragon Kingdom. How do you feel?
I feel fired up, Bob. And I'm happy for the dragon world, of course. I certainly wouldn't want to spend the rest of my dragon days butting heads with Gnasty Gnorc and his weird minions.
What's a minion?
Never mind. You know what they say. For every good battle, you need a good adversary. And I felt that Gnasty, in spite of his misguided nature, was a worthy opponent. Uh-oh. Here we go again.
And the vicious cycle starts all over again. Right on. Thanks so much for dropping by, Dragonath. It was great having you. Hopefully you'll be stopping by some more of my future streams. Like I said, this is eventually going to be going up on my YouTube channel. You can probably find that somewhere on my Twitch, along with my Twitter. Right now I have other playthroughs going up on there that I didn't stream with Ratchet & Clank and Psychonauts. Those are currently premiering every Tuesday and Friday, I believe is how I have those scheduled. And then after those, the VODs are going to start going up as I stream more and more. Very good games. I love 3D platformers. That is my bread and butter. Like I said, though, probably in October, you could catch me streaming spookier games. The only future streams that I have kind of lined up in my brain is next Wednesday I'm going to be streaming Jak 2, and tomorrow I'm thinking Spyro 2, but you said you're busy with that. Yeah, that is Spyro 1 done in a sitting. That was fun. Be good, be kind, treat people the way you want to be treated. And have a wonderful rest of your day.